Coming up on the Angus Report, Hurricane Harvey and the road to recovery.
Well, I'm JD Roseman here in the South Texas area. We catch up with a few ranchers to see exactly how they're picking up the pieces after Hurricane Harvey came through and how their communities rally together to help rebuild and strengthen their future.
What do cattle feeders want and how to build a relationship with buyers?
Relationships in the cattle business are everything. And you know, I talked to somebody not very long ago. We do millions of dollars worth of business, and there's no pieces of paper largely to keep track of anything.
We look at how an Angus ranch makes the land work for them in more ways than one. This is the Angus Report. Hello and welcome to the Angus Report. I'm Bob Cervera. Our top news this week. Hurricane Harvey has left thousands of people in Texas and Louisiana in shelters. Almost 185,000 homes damaged or destroyed, and more than 360,000 people have registered for assistance with the Federal Emergency Management Agency. But missing in those numbers are the number of cattle and livestock displaced. Our J.D. Roseman is in Texas.
Well, we're here in Austin, Texas at the Texas Animal Health Commission, and while total cattle affected are still unknown, we caught up with state veterinarian Dr. Andy Schwartz to see what health issues cattlemen are facing in the months ahead.
With the cattle, what some of the folks on the front line are seeing, are producers and veterinarians alike are seeing injuries that result from standing in water for extended periods of time. So they're also seeing some respiratory issues due to the stress and some skin conditions and all as a result of that. What we encourage producers to do is to watch for sloughing of the skin. That can happen if the cattle have been in that water with the high bacterial content, and the water and the bacteria make the skin break down, and so we encourage them to seek supportive care for those injuries. So get the cattle in a clean, dry environment. Some good broad-spectrum antibiotics can help, and possibly some anti-inflammatories and even some medication that they could get through the veterinarian to relieve some of the pain that might be associated with those injuries. So they need to continue to watch for respiratory illnesses or other illnesses that might crop up as a result of the stress. But as far as reproduction, we just encourage them to consider what happened. It's likely that their cattle commingled with other cattle, and so we'd encourage them to watch out for things like bovine trichomoniasis or trick, and to encourage them to get their bulls tested, and when they get them recovered and get a chance to rest up from the stress, to have those bulls tested for trick. Well, the outpouring of donations and the offers to help have been just tremendous. I mean, this is neighbors helping neighbors, and sometimes that neighbor is in another state offering to help to come down or send supplies. And so we worked with the agencies I mentioned earlier as far as coordinating those donations and making them available at supply points. But as we go into the recovery effort, those supply points are being shut down. There's not a need for them anymore. But if someone is still wanting to donate hay or feed, they can go on the Texas Department of Agriculture's hay hotline or on their website, and they can actually indicate that they have hay or feed ready to donate.
Several organizations have coordinated relief efforts. Visit angus.org for a complete list of ways you can help the people who are affected. And as we see during times of crisis, the cattle community is a tight-knit group. The relationships ranchers make are crucial to the success of an operation. When trying to market a calf crop, having a close relationship with a feedlot can help, but establishing that relationship takes trust and years of work to build it. Cattle feeder Todd Wilkinson says that trust is a two-way street. So is the reward.
Relationships in the cattle business are everything. And, you know, I talked to somebody not very long ago. We do millions of dollars worth of business, and there's no pieces of paper largely to keep track of anything. How I meet that rancher is I have some buyers. I have buyers in Montana, and I have buyers in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. And that's primarily where we're sourcing our cattle from. And when we're first approached, I'm going to look at the bull battery, or who they're AIing to. I buy probably 90% of our cattle right off the ranch. So I'm looking for an animal that's going to perform, that's going to have the ability to let me hit the April market, for instance, with that fall calf that I'm going to pick up here in just a few weeks. And I'm looking for an animal that's got great genetics that can make me hit a premium. I need to hit that choice and prime in the CABs because that's the program our operation is in.
Visit cabpartners.com for more information about how to reach those premiums and enter that high-quality market. The dawn of a new era has happened in the food industry. Amazon took over operations of Whole Foods markets. Amazon didn't waste any time knocking down prices in Whole Foods market stores, where some prices dropped as much as 43%. Amazon customers who choose to purchase their groceries online may have their food delivered to local Whole Foods market stores for pickup, or they can send returns back to Amazon. People with deep pockets hold the power, and it's still to be determined what Amazon will do with theirs, considering traditional retailing. It's expected many ranchers in rural areas won't notice a change in their local grocers, but urban hubs might see that traditional food retailers will be forced to adapt to the new changes in the marketplace. It's unknown which changes will occur in the beef industry to adjust to the new rules on how consumers will buy beef products. We'll have more information as the story develops. Producers looking for ways to optimize production and provide a consistent product to feeders and in turn consumers might look to utilize synchronization technologies. Barb Downey of Downey Ranch says one way her operation is working to provide a more consistent and profitable product is through utilizing synchronization protocols on their entire herd. That's helped tighten their calving window and in turn produce calves more consistent in size and quality.
In terms of those cows are calving up further in the calving season. They have a greater opportunity to get bred, and they have a greater opportunity to stay in my herd year from year from year, which has a great benefit to my bottom line. Since we have started synchronizing basically all of our cows, we have seen the number of days that it takes to get the halfway point. So if we're calving 400 cows, by the time we get to 200, we've watched that drop 11 days. We've seen the number of calves born in the first 25 days of our calving season increase 12%. And that's within a herd that was already using some synchronization. So this was an incremental change that still gave us great benefit. And we can make sure that our replacement females are coming from those cows that calve in the first half of that breeding season early up, so that we're indirectly selecting for those most fertile females right off the bat.
Contact your local veterinarian or extension agent to develop a synchronization protocol fit for you. The U.S. Department of Agriculture recently awarded the University of Missouri College of Veterinary Medicine $460,000 towards developing an immunization to fight tick-borne disease. An estimated 80% of cattle are affected by ticks. When an animal is bitten by a tick, it has a risk of catching anaplasmosis, which infects red blood cells and causes severe anemia, fever, weight loss, and it can be fatal. Lead researcher Bill Stitch and an international research team will work to develop immunizations using tick tissue to fight the disease. The program hopes to build a sustainable approach to prevent the acquisition, maintenance, and spread of tick-transmitted diseases by tapping into the immune response of cattle. By developing a vaccination against the pathogen, producers will be able to utilize a more natural method to control tick disease. When we return, we go back to Texas to see just how ranchers are picking up the pieces after Hurricane Harvey. Then we see how the McCrae family makes their land work not only for their Angus cattle. Visit angus.media to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
Forward. It's more than a direction. It's mandatory, because the beef business rewards the progressive, the doers, the ones who know what it takes to go easy on cattle and never set them back. So set your eyes on the horizon, turn your back to the wind, and move your herd the only way you know. Forward. Vista Vaccines. Always ahead.
Today's beef consumer has questions. BQA has the answers. Your Beef Quality Assurance certification allows you to share a story that assures customers that you are responsibly raising a safe, wholesome, and healthy beef supply. Becoming BQA certified just became even more convenient with a new interactive training experience that is online and available 24/7. So what are you waiting for? Get started today by visiting bqa.org.
Hi, I'm Red Stegall. I'd like to invite you to the 2017 Angus Convention, November 4th through the 6th, right here in historic Fort Worth. It's also open to all cattle producers, whether you own Angus cattle or not. Now you'll enjoy 4 days of Texas hospitality, a ranch tour, an industry-leading trade show, and some of the best educational opportunities in the business. But best of all, you'll get to be with your Angus family, celebrating the successes of the breed and charting a course for the future.
Did you know that your checkoff works to grow demand for U.S. beef in more than 80 countries? Did you know export markets add more than $250 in value to each head? Did you know your checkoff works to develop, defend, and dispel in an effort to expand international markets? While you're focused on managing your beef business, your checkoff is developing new foreign markets and defending those where U.S. beef is currently sold. Get to know your checkoff at mybeefcheckoff.com.